Why did George Janko really leave Impulsive? Was there something happening behind the scenes which fans didn't know about? Did Logan Paul decide he had enough of George's antics and fired him? Over the past few days, a lot of new information has come out, which you guys need to check out. The Impulsive podcast has undergone some noticeable alterations. It is becoming evident. The third co-host of Impulsive, or should I say ex-co-host, has formally quit or been fired from the show. George Janko's fans have observed that Impulsive has unfollowed him on social media and taken him off of their banners and profile pages. The past few episodes featuring Kevin Hart and Ice Cube also don't have George Janko present. Many fans also picked up on their Boys Only episode where Vitek was present. And it's clear he's already a fan favorite. Every time Jeff spoke on this episode, I literally laughed out loud. He needs to be here permanently. Jeff, as an addition to the podcast, is perfect, and he's witty enough to defend himself unlike the other previous third mics. Jeff was a delightful guest because he has social awareness and gels perfectly into conversations. He knows when to add and when to listen. We did call this in a previous video we made about the situation. Vitek would be the perfect replacement for George and third co-host for Impulsive. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell. This way you'll never miss out on any future celebrity videos similar to these. But while that might sound like a good idea, I'd argue that it's really not. Sure, Jeff getting involved for a Boys Only episode was seamless. As soon as a guest is brought on, the dynamic completely changes. It doesn't make for good viewing to have three podcast hosts fighting for time on the mic, so inevitably the designated third host must take a back seat. If you would remember, towards George's last few appearances on the Impulsive podcast, there was a viral moment where he rapped a song called The Heart of David Freestyle, which fans seemed to love, and he decided to do a full-on music video for the song last night. Like most, I was introduced to George through Impulsive. I not only resonated with his faith, but shared in his failures. I was present throughout what he described as the hardest years of his life. And despite that, George has been killing comedy, started one of the most wholesome, genuine podcasts, and is now going back to music. He's not only an inspiration to many, but proof to all. God bless. Love the song and the music video. George has been killing it. This was amazing, George. Thank you. What a blessing. It's great to see the positive feedback, as although George and the Impulsive team may not be on the best of terms, he's still doing his own thing and getting huge amounts of support while doing so. A few days ago, Mike Milek was present on a stream with Aiden Ross and Sneeko, and they briefly brought up the George Janko Impulsive situation, and it was awkward to say the least.
Why is George not Impulsive anymore? Is that like you don't answer that?
He's too Christian.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
He didn't go to the ritual in the basement.
Yeah,
He refused.
that's what it was.
He kept
Bro,
his hand on
what?
the Bible.
I still don't know. I still haven't seen anything about this ritual, bro. Is there any? Is that?
Let's not talk about that shit. It's scary though.
Something must have happened behind the scenes. The fact Mike doesn't even want to address the situation, or that he wishes George the best going forward. What do you guys think about this all? Do you think something bad happened between the trio, and will George stick to what he said before and expose them? Comment below. For those that may not know what was meant by that last part, towards the end of April, George Janko posted a cryptic tweet which got people initially thinking he left Impulsive, stating, "I wasn't going to talk, but now I am." On a Jeff FM show that aired on April 21st, Tana Mojo accidentally revealed that George had actually left Impulsive.
We are the new Impulsive. I'm sorry.
We are. It's fun.
Y'all are having like a rebrand, like George is leaving. Like, this is it. This trio's really it.
Making his own podcast made sense to George, since if you listen to the Impulsive podcast, you probably heard him go off topic with something deeper and more significant. With guests like Bryce Hall, the podcast has been doing rather well thus far. According to the comments, viewers seem to be loving it and are particularly delighted with the guests. Naturally, George's podcast will never be as popular as Impulsive, but I'm sure his early success has demonstrated to him that he can succeed on his own. And this probably played a factor in his decision to leave the show. If you look at the content George used to post on his channel before he started his podcast, almost all of the videos that got a high number of views had either Logan or Mike in them. Not to mention that without Impulsive, George would be half as well known as he is today. The truth is that in the past, George has relied heavily on Logan and Mike to get views and to maintain his relevance in the scene. But what factors actually lead to this decision? There's the Bobby Lee instance where he walked out off set, which was his most viral moment on the podcast.
He is clocked out.
Yeah,
he's-
I know.
George has been under a tremendous amount of abuse.
No,
No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here with me. Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said this, he walked, and that's a first, and now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the
Logan,
next 2
Mike.
months. I swear to God, Bobby Lee, you pissed off my co-host. He's probably crying in the driveway.
But I believe the tipping point was when Logan Paul blatantly disrespected and disregarded George's religious beliefs in front of millions of people on a previous episode of Impulsive.
One that really hurt me is you told me I need a therapist because I believe in Jesus. That one hurt me.
No, I didn't. I said you need a therapist because Jesus isn't quite doing it for you,
No, you
which
didn't.
is
No, you
which is
didn't.
true.
No, you didn't.
I said,
I don't want to stand down. No, you didn't.
You
said
think I said you need a
not what I
therapist
think.
because you
I
believe in
checked you and I said,
Jesus?
"What did you just say to me?" And you said, "What did I say?" And you stumbled. And you're like, "I don't know. What would I say?" And then you fumbled. I'm not backing down from
It
this.
is common knowledge that you don't interpret reality like reality happens, and you heard that incredibly wrong.
Despite the widespread belief that Logan Paul has changed, his recent behavior suggests otherwise. He's been involved in several scandals, from defrauding fans to disrespecting his closest friend for little to no valid reason. In fact, Logan Paul has known George most likely for over a decade now, as they used to live in the same apartment building and made vines together, which is how they initially became famous on social media. It's clear what Logan really thinks of George from not even listening to his opinions and dismissing them in front of millions of people. Logan doesn't deserve him, was a popular response in the comments section. George should stop doing this podcast and start another one. George is too good to be around Logan and those guys. George, you deserve amazing friends and loyal and loving and supporting friends. How is it okay to treat your best friend this way? Truly disgusting. You would treat someone so close to you like this. The amount of respect I've lost for Logan is crazy. On one of George's recent podcasts featuring Tana Mojo, there was some shade thrown at Impulsive. Mojo joked, "Or me and Jeff can have you right on Jeff FM, and we'll have the new Impulsive. Watch out, Logan. Watch out, Mike. New trio." Janko responded, "That would be effing hilarious. But can you just do me a favor? Put me in a spot where no one looks at me or talks to me, so I feel like how I used to feel." We've seen this in the past on Impulsive. A third co-host never works. Similar to how George and Logan had an argument, Mike and Mac had one about the topics they talk about on the podcast. Going forward, Impulsive is better off just having Logan and Mike, as the same cycle will keep inevitably happening. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.